What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 12. Top DFS picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for this week's NFL slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NFL Week 12. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So this may surprise some people, but my top DFS pick at the quarterback position is Cam Newton from the New England Patriots playing the Arizona Cardinals, who have the 13th worst defense overall, and they give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Cam Newton has averaged 20.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 9.2 rush attempts per game. He scored 22, 17, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's projected at 19.9 fantasy points here in Week 12, and he's only $6,400 DraftKings salary and $1,300 more on FanDuel. So yes, for about $1,000 more, you can play Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, but I like the salary savings and the rushing upside in Cam Newton. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 49.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Patriots trailing by 2.5. So a close game, a competitive game, relatively high scoring game, and a good matchup. So I like Cam Newton here versus the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My top DFS pick at the running back position is Nick Chubb from the Cleveland Browns playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the 2nd worst defense overall, and they give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Nick Chubb has averaged 17.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 16 rush attempts per game and about 1 pass target per game. He scored 14 and 22 fantasy points in the last 2 games off of 20 and 19 rush attempts. So he's getting plenty of rushing volume, and he's projected at 14.3 fantasy points here in Week 12. He's $7,100 DraftKings salary and $1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48.5 points scored in this game, with the Cleveland Browns favored by 6.5. So fantastic matchup. This is a running game script. Nick Chubb could run all over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I like Nick Chubb here versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. So because Adam Thielen is out with COVID, my top DFS pick at the wide receiver position is Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings playing the Carolina Panthers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and although they've been pretty good versus opposing wide receivers, Justin Jefferson has averaged 16.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.9 pass targets per game. He scored 18 and 25 fantasy points in the last 2 games, and he's projected at 16.1 fantasy points here in Week 12. He's $6,300 DraftKings salary and $700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48.5 points scored in this game,
and they have the Vikings favored by 4. So I think Justin Jefferson is going to get a handful of those targets that would have gone to Adam Thielen. So you put this guy at around 8 to 10 plus targets. I think he has a monster day here versus the Panthers. So I like Justin Jefferson here versus the Carolina Panthers. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My top DFS pick at the tight end position is Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the second worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Darren Waller has averaged 14.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.3 pass targets per game. He scored 22, 7, and 17 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 7, 5, and 10 pass targets. He's projected at 14.9 fantasy points here in week 12, and he's on the field for 90% of the snaps. He's $6,000 DraftKings salary and $1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game, 55.5 points scored in this game, with the Raiders favored by 3. So a high-scoring game, a fantastic matchup, a close, competitive game. So I like Darren Waller here versus the Atlanta Falcons.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.